Good morning and welcome to It's How You'll Be Remembered. I am Julie Jones, your host and the Chief Encouragement Officer here at Today's Professionals right here in Plano, Texas. And joining me today, Sue Bonzell from Nashville. Sue, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm thrilled to be here.
Get all tongue-tied. I get so excited. So you are a marketing and branding specialist. You are also a radio show host, podcast in the country music and country Christian music. You are a believer and you work with people in a way that is aligned with God's purpose for you and for your clients, which is so cool.
Yes. All of those things.
All of the above. It is so interesting. And the most exciting thing, and I want you, if you are watching, be sure and say hello to us. Stay to the end because we have a guilt-free marketing summit coming up next week. And I am honored to be a guest on that. Thank you so much for including me in that. And it is going to be exciting. We're going to be talking more about that throughout the show today. So be sure and say hello and stick around if you're with us. And so, Sue, tell me, I'm looking at your website and it is beautiful. And it is something that I think when you look at you and all the things you do, I'm like, how do you have time? How do you have time to do all that? Work with clients, marketing, branding, music. It's so exciting. What is your story? Tell us how you got involved with all of this.
Well, I ask myself that same question a lot of the times too, where I go, how am I doing this? It must be God. It's got to be God, because there are some days that I go, I don't know how I'm doing this, but I've always had an interest in marketing. I went to school for graphic design. I'm a creative. I love to create, always with the ideas. If there's a whiteboard in sight, I'm like, give me the whiteboard. I want to do some ideas.
Yes.
And anytime I'm talking to someone or I meet somebody, I'm like, oh, this would be fun. Oh, it would be interesting. It's just the creativity that God has given me. And I feel so blessed to have that. Although he does give me lots of ideas and I go, God, I can't do all of them.
I know.
Let me be discerning to figure out which is the right direction. So I started in graphic design, kind of, rolled over into marketing, noticing that clients were needing more than just graphic design. They were needing strategies and how they were actually using that graphic design, which is fine, but what's the strategy behind all of it and what's the purpose? And so that's how I started in marketing. Ended up, I've done lots of things. I won't go on and on and on, but I was, my family owned a winery in Northern California. And so I was the general manager and the marketing person. So doing all of the marketing for the winery, which was so much fun. It was really, really fun. I was in real estate. I was a top real estate agent in my area. It was all about marketing. That was what was my success in real estate. I was also good at the transactions, but it was market. I attribute it to marketing, the success there. But yes, I ended up on accident in radio. I walked into the radio station to do a promotion for something I was doing. And I said, I'd love to just do a regular feature here and talk about the fun things that are happening. And they said, oh, well, we'll put you on the air. And I said, oh, okay. I had zero experience. I did not go to school for radio. They plopped me in front of a mic and I was as nervous as anybody else to be speaking. But they said, hey, you want to come back next week? And I said, yes. And they ended up training me. I ended up being on the air for almost 20 years in country radio on a very small station in Northern California, and also on a station for a little while in the Cayman Islands, doing it doing it remotely, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah. So, did you live there?
No, gosh, no. I wish. It was all remote. That was all remote. But the beauty of technology you can do these days.
I know.
But I had so much fun in radio. But there was a time, it was the last year, I was really feeling like, is this the right place for me to be? Do I need to be in radio? Is this about promoting me? And is it about look at me? Or, I was more in a place of what am I doing that is glorifying God? and I wasn't
Oh,
really able to do that. It's secular, if you will, country radio. So I had an opportunity to get onto a online radio station, and I said, "Hey, do you think you would entertain letting me do a show called Country Christian?" So it's country music that I love, but that's Christian.
Christian.
And then I could also, share Christian values. And they said, well, we'd be interested in that. So we created a show. And
Wow.
so that's what I do now. I walked away from the other ones. It was like God was putting that on my heart to say, this is not where you're supposed to be. And so he just kind of popped me over to it's a 1 hour show on Sundays on Coast to Coast Country. Thesis Radio Network. They've got like 14 different stations. But yeah, amazing company and just very open to allowing me to do that. So
That is so cool that you do that. And that music is something that really touches the heart, right?
yes.
And so you're able to promote that and promote the Christian values, which I believe that the Christian values, and I feel like right now, Christians are getting a really bad rap for being judgmental and, all of those things. But really, the message of Christianity is hope.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
absolutely.
that's the message.
Yes.
And so, do away with the judgment and all of that. It's really about you are here for a purpose. You are loved and you are created for a purpose.
Yes.
And that is the message that we need to get out. So I love the fact that you're doing that every week on Sundays on the radio. You're doing that. Yeah.
It's so much fun. And then I ended up, how I ended up in Nashville. I grew up in Northern California, my hometown of Santa Rosa, California, and moved out to the Nashville area. During the pandemic, everybody made a switch, doing something different. I started a virtual show where it was a podcast video show where I was interviewing rising country artists. And I was doing that virtually when I was in California. And with everything being virtual and all of the things, I said, listen, I can just move to Nashville and I can do these in person. And so I moved to Nashville and started interviewing artists. I have a bunch of artists on my wall here that I've interviewed.
Yeah.
I got Vince Gills right there. So he's not a rising country artist, but
no, he's a pretty cool guy, though.
He's a pretty cool guy to know.
I got to see him perform with the Eagles at the Sphere.
So good.
Yeah, in Las Vegas.
So lucky.
Yes. Actually, I saw him twice. I saw him in Fort Worth at Will Rogers Coliseum with the Eagles, and then to the Sphere. So fun. Yeah.
He's amazing. He's huge. I'm 5'1". He's a big guy. Big guy. Okay. Gentle giant. Sweet man.
Yeah. But I thought you meant huge in his presence. I'm all about
that too.
But he does have a big presence about him as well. And definitely seems to be a really good guy.
Yeah, I've been so blessed. I've met some of the most amazing people. And so it was the Up and Country show. And I was prompted about a year ago to lay it down and just kind of take a break, which I did. And now I'm kind of getting that, well, do you want to bring it back as Up and Country Christian? Yeah. And so I'm looking for feedback. If anybody would be interested in that show, I want to hear about it. So
yeah, well, I definitely want to be a supporter of that show. So let me know what I can do.
Thank you.
I also want to hear your story about your faith, because you've made the switch. Winery, going, moved to Nashville so you could interview country music, and then you said, I want to go Christian country.
Yeah.
What is behind that? What is the story behind that?
Yeah. So I wasn't necessarily raised in the church. I was, we were Catholic, but we went to Christmas and Easter. We were Creasters. That was about the extent of the church, a little bit of Sunday school when I was much, much younger as a child, but we did not go regularly. And I always felt like that God was always there. I was always trying to read the Bible. I just couldn't do it. It was so hard for me as a younger person. Yeah. I didn't understand. It didn't make sense to me, but I always was kind of had that longing. And I say that, of course, God is always pursuing us. And I feel like he was right behind me, waiting for me to just turn around and go, oh, Yeah,
There you
you're what I want. You're what I want. I'm seeking all of these other things to make myself happy, not knowing that all I needed was to turn around and just have Jesus. But it took me a long time. I'm 56 years old,
go.
and it took me a long time.
Mhm.
I was going to church, a Christian church, so I would go on Sundays, but it was a check the box.
Yeah.
Check the box. You went to church on Sunday, you're good. You sang, you prayed. I didn't open my Bible that week, but I would go to church.
Yeah.
Um, and it wasn't until when I got to Nashville, I got to Tennessee, and I say when people hear, they go, "Oh, you're California. You moved to moved to Tennessee, all coming from California." And I say, "Listen, God called me here because I feel like I was not going to get truly saved where I was in my hometown that I had never really left,
Yeah.
um, in a lifestyle that was a little bit different." And so, moving to the Nashville area, boy, he spoke to me
Mm.
loudly, loudly.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of those things had to kind of get out of the way in
Mhm.
order for me to hear him.
Yeah.
And when he spoke loudly, and I was in that place of, I had been wanting to get baptized again. I was baptized as a baby, but I
Yeah.
had always said, "Oh, I want to be baptized again." But I knew that if I was going to get baptized, I would have to change my lifestyle. So that would mean no drinking and partying and being out and doing all these things and swearing and all the things. I knew that I would have to change my lifestyle. And
Yeah.
I was like, "Well, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I'm not ready." But let me tell you, when he spoke to me, I was like, "Let's go. Let's go. I'm all in." My life did a complete 180. I feel like I'm a completely different person. I mean, I'm still me, but I mean, the way that I think about things,
Mhm.
I'm putting God first as much as possible. I'm reading my Bible every day. I'm praying every day.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, I'm a happy girl. I am way happier now than I was then,
Mhm.
thinking I was happy at the bars.
That is such a great story, and one that I hear a lot.
Yeah.
I hear a lot that I was seeking something that
Yes.
there was just an emptiness. And the
Yes.
more I chased money, or I chased relationships, or I chased, whatever it is, success, career, everything that you think you want, I hear that was really not fulfilling me. There was an empty space inside.
Yeah. And I didn't even realize it.
Yeah, no, we don't realize it because we
Yeah.
think that that's what we're supposed to do. That's
Yeah.
that's the message that we've gotten, especially, in our generation. It is, you
Yes.
get the good job, you have the career, you build the wealth, you
Yes.
do this, you do this. But what you're doing is you're chasing something that does not feel, you cannot take that with you when you
Yes.
go. What we forget about is relationships. And so many people now are saying, at the end of my life, I built all
Mm.
this wealth, but my children don't speak to me. I
Yeah.
have no friends. All of my friends are
Mm.
superficial. They all
Right.
want something from me. And here I
Mm.
am at the last days of my life, and I'm alone.
Yes. Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
it worth it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that is chasing something other than God, which will
Yeah.
ultimately fulfill every need that you have. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I love the fact too that you said, what I was doing was not glorifying God, because
Yeah.
I wasn't living a life that was filled with integrity and
Right.
inspiration and hope. And
Yeah.
I was living a life that so many of us all live. And I'll tell you, it is a struggle, especially as an entrepreneur, to not get caught up in, well, if I build this, if I do this, and let's have this, which is where the second part of what you do is marketing businesses.
Yeah. Hmm.
And you help people come up with a plan to market who you are, because we are supposed to make a living. We're supposed to use our
Yes.
hands. We're supposed to work. We're supposed to do that. That is something that is faith-based. It does glorify God.
Hmm.
So it's just the love of money, right? The love of all
Right.
the things, the worldly things. We're supposed to do this. We're even supposed to build wealth to leave behind to our families and to give to the
Yes.
communities and to help those who are struggling. So we're supposed to do that. And you got into marketing at some point. Tell me about that. How did you get into a marketing and branding company?
Well, yeah, I started in the graphic design, and then
Yeah.
and I was in a different place. Not being truly saved. I had identified as a Christian, but I was not truly saved. And I tell you, I was building that business based on me, on what it was going to give for me. And oh, look at what I did. I made this really cool logo, and look at how great I am. And I had a different mindset in that, and it was like, how much money can I get for that? Or those types of things. But I love I do love to help businesses. It wasn't like I was just like all about me, but I do love to help businesses. But it took a minute for me to really recognize that what I'm doing, and this goes for anybody really in business, is I am in service to others.
Yes.
God has given me a talent. He gave me this talent a long time ago. I've
Mhm.
been doing marketing and marketing strategies for a very long time. And that's a gift he gave me.
Mhm.
And then I also had to learn and, do all the things that we do to, improve ourselves and get better. But, it's about serving. And so now I look at things so differently when I'm taking on a client. I truly get so excited about their business. I'm like, I want to learn everything about your business. Tell me about you. I want to know your why. Where did you start? How did it happen? What can we do to blow you up? Like, I want you to blow up. And there's no guilt in that, to say
No.
it's okay to desire or want to have a bigger business and to
Mhm.
grow. Like you said, that money, it's the love of money that will get you. And that's what the Bible tells us. But God does want us to be prosperous, and we return that back to build the
Yes.
kingdom. And
That's
so, so,
right.
so
Serve.
that's where, so
Mhm.
now I'm looking at things where when I'm working with clients, I am asking them, what is your why? Is
Yeah.
it about, well, I started this business because I could make a lot of money. And a lot of people do that. And,
Yeah.
and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But let's also let's look at the deeper, how can you really be in service to others? What does your business look like when you're in service to others? And I can tell you that when we start thinking that way, our businesses will grow because God's going to bless that.
Yeah.
So,
Yes. It's
yeah.
a higher calling, right?
Yes.
So there are people, because I work a lot with companies, and I used to own a plumbing company, and there were
Yeah.
people who would come in, clock in, and leave. They didn't want to be accountable for any revenue. They just said, I'm just here to earn a paycheck, which is
Yeah.
fine, except that if you're just going out to just serve, and you're not thinking about the numbers, because there are numbers involved here, you're not earning your pay, then we're going to go out of business. So
Right.
but
Exactly.
why but then again, it's like, we want to help you grow in your career. We want to help you grow as a person. We want to help you become a
Yes.
better parent, a
Yes.
better community member. And so how can we put this in perspective of, we're all working for something larger than ourselves. It's more than just the
Yeah.
paycheck.
Absolutely. And it comes down to, I mean, it sounds so simple. It's like a simple concept, but probably harder to implement. But honestly, God should be at the center of our businesses.
Mhm.
He's going to direct our steps. We need to be listening. We need to be,
Right.
it's like, if you are able to get in that mindset of surrender, that everything that I have is his, everything that I'm going to have is his.
Yes.
And so
Yeah.
I'm just here to steward what he's given me.
Yes.
So when I look at it that way, it also takes a lot of the pressure off for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of like he's blessing me. He's
Yes.
blessing me in my business. And I'm like, I'm just doing what he's telling me to do.
Yes.
And using the gifts he gave me. That's all I'm doing. So
And that's what we're supposed to do, because we're all given gifts. And this is the one thing I think one of the lessons I've had to learn, even in my later years. And sometimes I think it takes a lifetime for us to go through lessons. And then as we start to come into that fourth quarter of our life, the third and fourth quarter of our life,
Yeah.
we start to say, this is like, things start to click.
Yes.
And I think that it's, I used to want to be everything, the perfection and the drive and the ambition, and I just wanted to do it all. And then I realized I'm me. This is who
Yes.
I'm created to be. And I need to surround myself with people who are not necessarily like me,
Yeah.
maybe in values, but not, that doesn't have the same skill set, because that's where we put together the community.
Yes, I'm glad that you said that, because I was just watching a video of someone else talking about Solomon, and like Solomon has like a whole business plan, and one of the things he said was he partnered with the king, and so it was like, okay, partnerships, number one, that's biblical, plus we do need to surround ourselves with a community of people who are going to be supportive of us, and also, keep us on track. Hey, did you pray about that? Like, are you making a decision? What are you hearing from God? I'm going to support you. But I think it's super, super important to have a community that will be loving, supportive, and honest with you as well.
Yes. So true. So true. But you have to be careful too about who you seek counsel from.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Absolutely.
And so I think building that community and building those relationships have been really important. And as I get older, I realize that the people who are in my inner circle, I don't have a lot of people in my inner circle. I used to want so many friends. Like, I want to have a lot of friends, and I do want to have a lot of friends, but the people that are really close to me, and sometimes they're not even family members, because if you have a dream in your heart, you have to really protect that, because it's there for a reason.
Yes.
And other people don't see your vision. They don't see what God has placed on your heart.
Yes. So true.
And so sometimes it's better just to keep it inside, and just do. Because I used to tell my my business partner this. At first, people will ask you why, but later they ask you how.
How? Yeah. How did you do that?
And that is when you say, you know what, this was placed on my heart, and I just got with God and said, there's got to be a purpose here. So I'm going to step forward in faith.
Yeah.
And I don't have to have it all figured out.
Well, and that's to not have it all figured out. And here's the thing, like, I know sometimes I've talked to people, and it's like, they're like, oh, you have it all together and it's been so easy, and oh, God's blessing you. And I'm like, yeah, but I've also stumbled, and I have also, made decisions where I go, whew, that was a bad decision. but what did God do? He used it, and he said, okay, here's where you're going to learn a lesson on this. So it's not about being perfect. And like you were saying that earlier about how, you're striving to try to do everything right and be perfect and do all the things. That does not exist in our world. And there is no shame in making a bad decision, or one that you go, why did I do that?
Yeah.
We have all been there. We're going to continue to do those things. And we just have to ask God to say, okay, well, what's the lesson? Give me the lesson.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, because it's the action that helps us grow and keeps going. And it's the action too that changes our mindset.
Yes.
Our minds can tell us, because our minds protect us, right? So our minds can say, don't do it, stay safe.
Yes. Yes.
But it's when you take that first step and that next step that you start to move forward in faith, and then things start to fall into place. But it's one step at a time, and you don't always see what the next step is. You just take the step.
Got it.
And it's funny too. We talk about perfection. I heard a video, or saw a video the other day about, if you were standing in front of 3 doors and someone said, pick the right door, because you pick the door that's going to lead you to your purpose. And you're like, I don't know. What's the right door? What's the right door? And so some people won't pick, because they're like, I don't want to make the wrong decision. But the people that pick and just go, I'm just going to go, will realize that all 3 doors lead you to your purpose.
Yes.
It's
So
just
good.
each door is a different path that you're going to
Yes.
take, which is why when you can be in your 50s and 60s, that you can say, oh, it's too late. I can't do it. I should have done it
Not.
when I'm 30. You're not late. You're on time because this was
You're
your,
right on time.
you're right on
That's right.
time because you took the path. You're going to get there. It's
Yes.
just that, what path did you take?
Hmm. That's great. That's a great analogy. I love that. I love
Yeah.
that.
So yeah, so take action and step out in faith. Well, I
Hmm.
want to talk. I mean, I'm so excited about the Guilt-Free Marketing Summit. What inspired you to create this?
Well, I had to name it guilt-free marketing because I talk to so many, especially women in business, where you go, "Ah, I feel a little guilty. I mean, maybe I shouldn't be making money, or I don't know, is it right for me to make money? Or I feel guilty promoting myself. I feel like I'm being all, oh, hey, look at
Arrogant.
me.
Yeah.
Arrogant, like I'm not humble, like, oh, I shouldn't promote. I feel guilty. Even to the point of where I get this, where it's like, I feel guilty. Oh, I was supposed to post this week on my socials and I just didn't do it. Oh, I feel guilty. I feel bad. I should have done it. Oh, I know I said I was going to do it and I didn't do it. And so we have all this guilt on us about about around our businesses and in marketing. And so I said, okay, I want my marketing to be guilt free. Number one. And then I want to bring in my Christian faith. And so I started, talking to these women, and it just kind of grew, and it went like, wow, the most amazing women have stepped up for this. This is for Christian women in business to
Yeah.
show up, and our experts are people like you, Julie, who are just amazing and have a great message to help us build our businesses. So we've got business, we've got marketing, we've got the motivation, we've got faith, we've got all kinds of things, and some of the most inspirational stories from these women, their testimonies and their experience. And I've been doing the interviews. So we've been pre-recording the
Yeah.
interviews,
Yeah.
and I'm already blessed by what I've learned from these women. So the great thing is that we want to get this out to so many more people, because it's not only about building your business, it's about building the kingdom, it's about building your community, it's all of those things, and
Mhm.
it's all wrapped up into one.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I'm just so excited about it, and I know that the ladies that are going to show up are going to get so much out of this. There's so much value to it. Plus all of the speakers are giving free gifts. So if you're like, "Hey, they taught me something, that's great. I need the tools." Then they're giving you the tools also. So it's pretty awesome. Pretty
That
awesome.
is awesome. Well, I am thrilled to be a part of it, and thank you for
Yes.
creating it. Again, it is the Guilt-Free Marketing Summit. It is next week. It
Yes.
is free. It's online, and you will
Yes.
be inspired. You will be motivated. You're going to learn some things, and you will be blessed. And I love that you're doing this at the end of October, because we need this going into the holidays.
Yes,
We need
exactly.
centered and grounded as we move into the holidays, and we start to be with family and friends and reaching goals. Oh, I got to reach the goal and all of
I
that. So it's,
know.
it's really going to recenter you. And
Yes.
I'm so grateful that you have created this, because I think this is going to be a fantastic event, and I'm so happy
Me too. Me
you
too.
asked me to be a part of it. I mean, it's just outstanding. And I have really enjoyed getting to know you. I mean, you are just a rock star,
Thank
and
you.
I'm just so grateful for the introduction. And this is really how networking works, right? Because we met
Absolutely.
networking.
Yes.
There was an introduction that, somebody, you knew somebody who knew me. And so it was, oh, you need
Right.
to know her. Because when people are out and about, and you're building a community and you have a community, people are always thinking when they meet somebody, oh, you know what? You remind me a lot of Julie, or you should know
Right.
Sue. And they make these wonderful introductions, and that's how you grow your community with people who share
Absolutely.
your same values.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I know I had one gal that there were two people as I was speaking with all of these ladies, two people that said the same name. They're like, you need to meet her. And I went, well, okay, I need
Okay.
to meet her. So we did.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's wonderful, and that's the great thing about community and building a
Yes.
community, understanding a community.
Yes.
And I am excited about this. So if you are watching this and you're thinking, I want to know more about Sue, here's our website, SueBonzell.com. And on there, she has all the links of all the things that she's doing. And so you can go and check her out. She is a really, really amazing woman and somebody that you should know. And I'm so grateful that you spent the time to come on this show today to share your story and what you do, your journey of faith, and to talk about the Guilt-Free Marketing Summit. It's unique. I haven't ever heard of this, something like this before. And so I really think that this is going to be exciting. I'm going to put the link in the comments. As a matter of fact, I put it on LinkedIn, but I'll go in and put it in all the other places as well, on YouTube and on Facebook. And if you're interested in registering, I would encourage you to. It's free. You lose nothing to do that.
Right.
So
Exactly.
thank you. So Sue, thank you so much for sharing your story, for coming on, spending your time, and I look forward to seeing you next week.
I thank you so much, Julie. This has just been a real blessing. Thank you so much.
It's been amazing. Thank you. We'll see you next time on It's How You'll Be Remembered.